What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the last video for 2019. As we round out the year, I just want to start by saying thank you guys so much for tuning in so far. I've got a lot of really cool ideas coming up for next year, so make sure you hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you guys can get notified once those videos come out. But to give you guys a little bit of a teaser, one of the things that we're going to be doing is an audio sound effects breakdown, where we take an in-depth look at some of the most iconic sounds in movies and video games. And from there, we'll see what we can do to recreate them. So that's exactly what you're going to get this week as we take a look at the lightsaber sound from Star Wars. Now, it's no secret how Ben Burtt created the sound of the lightsaber swing. Between taking the hum of projector motors and the static interference from an old TV, Ben Burtt was able to create the base for this iconic sound. So because we don't have access to an old projector or an old tube-style TV, we need to recreate those sounds. So we're going to go ahead and do that now that we're here in Pro Tools. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to create two mono tracks. And we're going to start with recreating the projector. And to get a nice mechanical hum, we're going to start with using a triangle wave. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and select a section here. And we're going to come up here to our audio suite. And we're going to pull up our signal generator. And by default, this starts out with a sine wave at 1000 hertz, negative 20 dB. But we're going to need something a lot lower than that. So when I was taking a look at the actual lightsaber hum, I found that the frequency is roughly about 45 hertz. So we're going to go ahead and take our 1000 and we're just going to go ahead and make that 45. And to make sure that we have enough volume to work with, I'm going to put this at -6. And we're going to go ahead and select our triangle wave. And then this is what we end up with. So you can hear that that gives us a nice low hum to work with. So we're going to go ahead and render this out. And we can go ahead and close that. And just to make sure that we've got the same amount of audio, we're going to go ahead and highlight the first one and then select down. Now we need to recreate the frequency interference from the TV that he used. So we're going to go ahead and go back to our audio suite and back to our signal generator. And then this time we're going to go ahead and select a square wave. Now here in the United States, electricity cycles at 60 hertz. But if we take a listen to 60 hertz, you can hear this is actually just a little too high pitched. But if you've ever been plugging a speaker cable in or something, you probably heard this sound before. So because we went with 45 hertz on the other one, we're going to go with 45 hertz here. We're going to go ahead and select that and go 45 as well. And just like we did on the other one, we're going to go -6 to give us enough sound to work with. And then this is what we end up with that. And now we'll go ahead and render that down. And then we can close our signal generator. So then just to kind of give you an idea of where we're at so far, I'm going to go ahead and play these two together. So we can hear that square wave on top of the triangle wave, but it's not quite where we need it to be. And if you were to listen to the original sound, there's kind of a pulsating to it. So we can actually achieve this by adding an oscillator. And what an oscillator does is generates a secondary tone that mixes with the original tone and creates what's called a beat frequency. So for example, if we had 45 hertz on our original frequency and then we added a 47 hertz tone to it, we're going to get a 2 hertz oscillation. So I'm going to go ahead and start with our triangle waves here. And we're going to go back to our Melda Productions oscillator. And you'll notice that I've got it in bypass mode right now because if we don't have it in bypass, it's constantly outputting a signal. And that's the signal that's going to mix with our original frequency to help create that oscillation. So because we're working with a triangle wave, I'm going to go ahead and select triangle wave here. And with our triangle wave selected, we need to find a frequency that's going to give us a nice slow oscillation. And from 45 hertz, the closest piano note is going to be F1. So we're going to go ahead and select F1. And we're going to go ahead and play these together so that you can hear what kind of oscillation this gives us. Now that's just a little harsh, so we're going to play around with the frequency pitch just a little by using the sense knob here to kind of fine tune where we want that oscillation to be. Alright, so a plus 41.6 on the cents I think is going to be really great for a smooth oscillation there. Alright, so now we're going to move down to the square wave, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to put an oscillator on this one. And we're going to bypass that. And just like we did with the triangle wave, we're going to go ahead and select a square wave this time. Alright, so we're going to start by setting this up just like we did for the triangle waves. So let's go ahead and select F1, and we're going to move this to 41.6 as well. And then we'll just take a listen and see how that sounds. Alright, so that's a little too harsh. So let's move from F1 to F0 and see if that makes a difference. Alright, that made a huge difference. That gives us a really nice smooth oscillation. And we can smooth it out just a little bit more with our smooth knob here. And what this is going to do is it's going to roll off the sharp edges of that square wave. And so then if we play both these tracks together, this is what we end up with. So I think that gives us a perfect bass to work with. So this next part's probably actually the most fun part. So to get that lightsaber sound, Ben Burtt actually took a shotgun mic, and as he was playing the bass sound, he swung the microphone in front of that speaker to kind of get that Doppler effect. So what I'm going to do now to get this out of just a single speaker is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take both these tracks and I'm going to pan them all the way to the left. And while I don't have a long shotgun mic like Ben Burtt had, I do have a shotgun mic for my Zoom, so that's what we're going to be using. So because we didn't have a super pointed, long shotgun microphone, you can hear that there's still a lot of background noise. So I'm going to take a minute and clean this up a little bit. All right, so I was able to clean these up pretty well with just using a gate. And the reason that I chop these up is what I'm going to do is to kind of give it some variation. I'm going to duplicate these tracks out another 2 times, and then we're going to adjust the pitch slightly on each of those other tracks. And just to keep track of where I'm at on everything, we're going to use the center one. I guess I actually don't need a pitch on that because we're going to keep it right where it is. And then on the upper one, we're going to go up just 1 step. And then on this one, we're going to go down 1 step. And so from here, what we want to do is we want to go through and we just want to delete it so that we get 1 section per track. All right, so after separating all these out, I realized that a whole step was way too much. It actually ended up sounding kind of musical, which didn't sound right. So what I ended up doing was I came in here and I actually just ended up moving these by 15 cents in either direction. And that helped give it a little bit of variation, but not so much that it sounded weird. So now this is what we ended up with. Alright, so that's going to wrap things up with the lightsaber swinging sound. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, this is a series that I'm going to be doing a lot more next year. So make sure you leave a comment below to let me know what sounds you'd like to see me break down. And make sure you hit that subscribe button along with that notification bell so you get updates on when these videos come out. And if there's anything you'd like to see in my videos, you can drop a comment below as well, or you can get a hold of me on any one of these social media channels. Until next time.